Hebrews is clearly on another level. The interjection of thoughts and ideologies are so overwhelming and so complexing, as it were, that this book stands apart from any of its predecessors or any books that canonically succeeded. There is a rhythm to it. It is prose, it is poetry, there is intellectualism in it, deeply rooted in Hebraistic understandings of religion and faith. The writer uses the canvas of the Old Testament experience to paint a New Testament liberation. The contrast is so strong and so powerful that the book has been themed the book of better things, exceeding by comparisons that the Old Testament experienced, yet acknowledging it for its worth and its integrity. And more importantly, it brings a strong umbilical cord of relationship between New Testament understandings of Jesus Christ and Old Testament revelations of Jehovah God. It is saying then, what are you saying, Bishop? The book of Hebrews makes a connection between the two so powerfully and so profoundly that we can never excommunicate ourselves from the seed of Abraham, the children of Israel. We, like them, are covenant-keeping people. Christianity is rooted in Judaism. It does not stand alone and apart one from the other. It is not a house without a foundation. The integrity of its foundation is built upon the premise and the power of who God was in the Old Testament. It is from this perspective that the writer writes today, doing a parallel, if it were, of the children of Israel struggling to enter into the rest and going through the wilderness, hearing about a promised land that they did not receive. This chapter, this point of reference that we talk about today is uniquely set apart from any other text that I might preach or share with you, because while it is powerful, it is disturbing. God will disturb you. That's something we don't want to hear today, but God will disturb you. He will disturb you. Without his disturbance, you're not sure that you're his. If there's nothing in your faith that disturbs you, if there's nothing in your faith that intimidates you, if there's nothing in your faith that humbles you, if there's nothing in your faith that makes you drop down on your knees, if there's nothing in your faith that challenges your visions of grandeur about how wonderful you are, I doubt you have real faith at all. Real faith at all is a struggle. It's a conflict between where I am and where I ought to be, between what I feel and what he's called me to do, between the passions of my body and the calling of my spirit. It is always a war.
This is the Potter's Touch.
Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ, our King. I am so excited to share with you a series called Work Your Faith. I believe that God's going to share some things with you that get you ready as we come to the end of this year, that we're going to end it like kings and priests under God and accomplish that God has called us to do. The message today is the title message, Work Your Faith, and I'm going to show you how to work it, because I believe that if the word that you hear is mixed with faith in you, in your life, if you mix it, you're going to see a profitable experience in God. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about in every area of your life. Profitable. You've got too much word in you not to see the profit from the sacrifices you've been through. Get ready. God's going to really shake you up with this. You ready for it? Work your faith. There is always a gulf between what you hear and where you are. A struggle, if you please, between the holy you and the human you. Like twins struggling in the womb. You can't get rid of one for the other. You pray, let the Holy One kill the human. Not gonna happen. And the devil prays, let the human one kill the holy. But grace says, not gonna happen. And so we live, Pastor Robinson, with the twins struggling in our womb, never able to abort one for the other. My prayer has always been, let the holy Jakes kill the human Jakes. But he has not done it. 56 years, he has not done it. And then I begin to realize that it is the human Jakes that gives flavor to the holy Jakes. Like the marbling in a fine cut of meat. Isn't it funny that it is the fat that gives the steak its flavor? It is the human that gives the holiness its humility. For I am but a wretch undone. This text warns us as we struggle on the inside that struggle has something to do with the struggle on the outside, and that we are wrestling to enter into a rest. But right now, brothers and sisters, we are indeed in a wilderness. You can't tell it by looking. You can't tell it by how we're dressed. There is not a person in this room that is not in some kind of wilderness. A wilderness where nothing grows. A wilderness that reminds you of how thirsty you really are. A wilderness that defies all of the instruments of comfort. Buy you a big old lazy boy chair and scoot it all the way back. But the wilderness will disturb your rest. Custom design all of your clothes. But the wilderness will still leave you not fitting anywhere. And the writer warns us, if you don't learn from the ones who went before you, you will die in the same spot they did. So the text says, let us fear. Oh my God, let us fear? Let us fear? God is telling us to fear? The God who said, fear not, neither be thou dismayed, for I am with you. The God who stepped out on the seas and told the disciples, fear not. The Bible who says God has not given us the spirit of fear, in this text says, let us fear. Say it, let us fear. Say it, let us fear. So that means that there are some things. Is it a contradiction? No. It's not a contradiction. It is a collaboration of truth. A collaboration of truth says there are some things that I command you not to be afraid of. All right. Don't be afraid of their faces. Don't be scared of, as my grandma say, nary one of them. I don't know how you spell nary. That means all of y'all ain't scared of none of you. Every one of them. Don't be scared of, don't be afraid of their faces. I will make your face like flint against their faces. That's what God said. Stand up against them. Cry out. Spare not. Show my people their transgressions. You cannot be successful and be afraid of people. They will always run you away from what God has called you to. In fact, I have learned that it is the barking of the haters that assures me of the promises of the holy. If you hadn't barked so loud, I wouldn't have thought something was in there. But when I heard your dogs barking, I knew where the treasure was. But the text says there is something in the midst of our fearlessness. In the midst of our fearlessness,